Okay, everybody press continue, do not leave. All right, so on the left here, this is my 1040. This is the form that everybody uses to file their taxes. Of course, this would be a paper copy. You can do it with digital tax preparation software. But everybody is technically filling in this form, and you'll see there are 2 pages. So oftentimes, there can be a lot of information that you need to fill in. But at this point, we're going to look at some basic tax returns, because this is to get you guys ready. And there's a lot of stuff on here that will not pertain to you guys when you start filing taxes. So you'll notice once we get started here, we will be filling in a lot of zeros, and that's okay. All right. So this is the 1040. This is the form everybody files before April 15th. Again, to figure out if you get a tax refund, if you get money back, or if you owe more taxes because you didn't pay enough during the year. And remember that W-4 form is what starts that whole process, tells your employer how much tax to be taken out. And then at the end of January, everybody gets a W-2, which is on the right side of my screen here. And this comes from your employer. And the big idea of this W-2 is that it tells you how much money you made. So your wages, your income is in this box 1 where I'm hovering around right now. That's your wages, how much money you earned. And then the other important box for right now is the federal income tax withheld. So right next to your earnings is how much you paid in federal taxes for the year. Okay, then you'll also see there's Social Security tax, Medicare tax, and down on the bottom here is your state income tax. So there are 4 different types of taxes that show up on this W-2 to show you how much you paid throughout the year. And these numbers are what allow you and help you to file your taxes and send in that return. All right. So we are going to jump right in here. I'm going to use this W-2 form to fill out my 1040, figure out if Melinda will be getting money back or if she has to pay more. And then I have another tab open here, which has a little more information about Melinda. Yeah, I have that she is age 18. She lives with her parents. She'll be heading to college in the fall. So that should make you think, is she a dependent or not? Can she be claimed as a dependent? Then her employment info, she worked around 10 hours a week during her senior year at a local ice cream shop and 40 hours a week during the summer. Okay, so that just gives us some background. We won't really need to use this employment info in the 1040, but we will need this little personal info here. And then down below on this document, just showing you where I'm getting all this information, there's some important info down here for certain lines on the 1040. Okay. It says for certain lines, you may need additional info, so we will consult this table below. But we need to follow the directions on every line of the 1040. All right, so starting right off here, first name and middle initial. Her name is Melinda S. Flowers is her last name. And we also know from this page back here, she's age 18, lives with her parents, will be heading to college. So that means she is single. And that needs to be checked on the top. That is her filing status. She's not married. She's not the head of her household. She's not a qualifying widow. She is single, so that needs to be checked. And that really should have been the first thing that I did. Okay, Social Security number, that can be found on your W-2. Okay, and that is right here. Right there is her Social Security number. It's just I'm entering 987. Then, of course, the rest are X'd out because we don't want to steal Melinda's identity. So I'll just fill in some X's there. Okay, but of course, if this was your 1040, you would have to fill in your full Social Security number. All right, then we have home address, 456 Central Drive. Okay, again, that comes right from her W-2. Her information is right here. Okay, her city, town, state, and zip code. She lives in San Diego, California, zip code 92101. And just like I stressed when you guys were doing the W-4, this is an official form, so things like your name and your address should be capitalized. So please make sure you're doing so. All right. And let's see, moving down here. Foreign country name, she doesn't live in a foreign country, so we skip that. Standard deduction. Okay, this is important here. It says someone can claim, then there's two boxes that you can check. Can someone claim Melinda as a dependent, or can someone claim her spouse as a dependent? What do you guys think? Based on her age and her living situation, can someone claim her as a dependent?
Yeah, because she's a college student.
Yeah, she's 18, still lives with her parents. So yes, someone can claim her as a dependent, so this box needs to be checked. All right. Then there's a little section about age and blindness. It says you were born before January 2nd, 1955. And there's a checkbox if you're blind, because those are important things that affect your taxes. But neither of these apply to Melinda, so we can skip right over that. She also doesn't have any dependents. But years down the road, if you are someone who has children or maybe have parents that are living with you, you would need to fill in dependents here. But Melinda is a dependent herself, so she does not have any dependents. All right. Now we get into the nitty-gritty here. Okay, her personal information is filled out, filing status, name, address, social security number, and now we're filling in the values, the amounts to figure out if she's going to get a tax or not, or a tax refund or not. Okay, let's see. So Brennan, you need to open up that form, please. I'll tell you when to go to it. All right, so wages, salaries, tips, etc. Okay, that comes right from box 1. Right from box 1 on this W-2 is her wages, salaries, tips, etc. So 12,741 is what I'm entering into box 1 on her 1040. 12,741. So right now, switch over to your form. That is the first question. How much are her wages or her income? How much did she earn?
Mr. Poley, can you repeat the numbers?
So can you see my screen that I'm sharing?
Yeah, but not when I
can see it, but it's really small.
yeah.
Is that better? 12,741. Oh, whoops. I had an extra number in there. See, good thing I'm paying attention, guys. Otherwise, I just multiplied her earnings by 10. That's a big difference. Okay, 12,741 are her wages. That's the amount of money that she earned. Okay? And again, that came right from the W-2. Then you'll see the next group of lines. We have tax-exempt interest, taxable interest, qualified dividends, ordinary dividends, IRA distributions, pensions and annuities, Social Security benefits. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff there that probably doesn't mean anything to you guys right now. And that's okay. This is part of the form where I was telling you we won't have anything to fill in. Okay, like I said, this is a basic tax return. for somebody similar in age to you guys, so possibly a similar situation. And back on this form with the extra info here for lines 2A to 7A, it says assume $0 for each value. So 2A through 7A, I'm just filling in $0. Okay, because Melinda at this point in her life doesn't have any of these things. And chances are neither will you guys until maybe years down the road. Okay, by line 6 says capital gain or loss. If not required, check here. For Melinda, that's not required, so I need to check this box. All right, and then couple more zeros to fill in. It said 2A through 7A are all zeros. Okay, so that cuts out some of the work for us. We don't have to get into the nitty-gritty here. Then line 7B says to add lines 1, 2B, 3B, 4B, 4D, 5B, 6, and 7A. This is your total income. Okay, so lucky for Melinda, she only has one of those boxes that are filled in. So 12,741 plus all these zeros, it's still 12,741. Okay, so that's her total income. And for 8A, it says adjustments to her income. Well, let's see. That I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm going to go back to this info chart. It says line 8A, there are no adjustments to her income. So that's nice. We don't have to adjust that at all. Put another 0 in there. Then 8B, subtract line 8A from line 7B. This is your adjusted gross income. Okay, again, subtract line 8A from 7B. So we're subtracting 0 from 12,741, which is still 12,741. So that is her adjusted gross income. And that brings us to line 9, which is that standard deduction or itemized deductions. But real quick, who remembers the standard deduction amount?
12,400.
12,400. That is right. That's the current amount. So yeah, I guess based with this form, they're still using 12,200, but I am going to use 12,400. And just to make sure, I'm going to check this info box here. Okay, for line 9, it says if you are not a dependent, enter 12,200. If you are a dependent, which Melinda is, and line 7B is greater than 12,400, so let's check that. Line 7B greater than 12,400, so that means then we enter that amount of 12,400. Okay, that is her standard deduction, which we should remember lowers her taxable income. It lowers how much of her earnings can actually be taxed. Okay, then line 10, qualified business income. Again, that's a 0. Melinda does not have any of that. So for line 11A, we add lines 9 and 10. To again, stick with 12,400. Then for line 11B, her taxable income. So this is one of the most important lines so far. We have to subtract line 11A from line 8B. So we subtract this 12,400 from 12,741. That will give us a difference of $341. So since Melinda only makes a little bit more than that standard deduction amount, her taxable income is very low. Only $341 that she actually earned is allowed to be taxed. So that's nice. Like I tried to tell you guys before, that standard deduction is a good thing. That helps you out. Okay, it lowers your taxable income. And I believe that's the next question on the Google form. How much is Melinda's taxable income? Okay, and that should be this 341. Again, that's how much of her earnings can actually be taxed. All right. Now we're moving on to the second page. There we go. Scrolling down, scrolling down. All right, line 12A. So this says tax. Tax. What does that mean? What do we have to figure out? So let's look at line 12A on this reference sheet here. It says to find tax for 12A, refer to the tax table starting on page 62. Okay, and I have that open right here. Okay, this is my tax table, my 2019 tax table. So this is to figure out, based on your taxable income, how much are you actually supposed to have paid in taxes for the year? Okay, so we need to use this chart, which looks crazy. There are a lot of numbers on here. Well, let's figure out how this works. Okay, again, her taxable income that we had from line 11B was $341. So we need to find that amount on this. We need to find that amount on this table somewhere. So this says if line 11B, which is your taxable income, is at least. So we need to look down this at least column for how much she made. Her taxable income is $341. So I'm going at least, starts at 0, 5, 15, 25. Okay, we get up, she's at 341. So that means her income is at least 325. I'm sorry that this is so small. Wait. There we go. Zoom in a little bit there. Okay, again, looking for your taxable income in this left-hand column. If your taxable income is at least 325, but less than 350. So this is right where Melinda falls. She's at 341, so she's between these two numbers here. Okay, and she is single. She's single here. So her tax should be only $34 because her taxable income is between these two amounts and she's single. So we find where this row and this column intersects. So that means her tax that she should have paid is $34. So that's what I'm filling in for line 12A. It's $34. Okay, that's not much tax. It's not much at all. So add Schedule 2, line 3, and line 12A. She doesn't have any of that Schedule 2, line 3 stuff. Again, that doesn't apply to her right now. We're not even going to worry about that. So we just transfer the amount from 12A to 12B. And that is, again, $34. Okay, child tax credit. She does not have a child tax credit. She does not have any children. Okay, she is still just about a child herself. So 13A is 0, which means 13B is 0. Line 14. Subtract line 13B from line 12B. So subtract 0 from 34. That's still 34. Okay, other taxes, including self-employment tax. Again, that's something that doesn't apply to her, so that's a 0. And then again, that came from this reference page here too. So line 13, assume no child tax credits. Line 15, assume no other taxes. Okay. So line 16, right here says to add lines 14 and 15. This is your total tax. So 34 plus 0 is still 34. Line 17, another important row here, federal income tax withheld from forms W-2 and 1099. Okay, she does not have a 1099 because she's not an independent contractor. She's not self-employed. She only has her W-2. So we need the amount of her federal income tax withheld. And that's, again, this top right box, box number 2, is $534.96. So I entered that on line 17. And I believe that's the next question on our form. Federal income tax. How much did Melinda pay during the year? That was $534.96. Okay. Then we have other payments and refundable credits. Again, this sounds like stuff that won't apply to Melinda at this point. I'm just going to check here to make sure. Line 18 says assume no refundable credits. Okay, Melinda does not have any refundable credits. She does not have any earned income credit. She doesn't have additional child tax credits. She doesn't have an American Opportunity Credit, which I'm not even sure what that is, to tell you the truth. And then Schedule 3, line 14. Again, these other schedule things aren't something, these aren't things that apply to Melinda at this point in her life. So an 18E here is just adding these 4 previous, adding everything from line 18. But what do you know? There's nothing there. So her total other payments, refundable credits, are still 0. All right, we're almost there, guys. We're almost at the point where we can see if Melinda gets money back or if she unfortunately has to pay more. So for line 19, we add lines 17 and 18E. These are her total payments. So line 17 is $534.96. 18E is 0. So for line 19, we still enter that $534.96. All right. So we have one last step to see if she is owed a refund or owes more in taxes. Just looking for you guys to make a prediction right now. Do you think Melinda will be getting money back, or will she have to pay more?
I think she'll be getting money back.
You think she's going to get money back? Anybody else?
I agree with Zach.
You agree with Zach? Julia says money back. So why do you guys think she'll get money back?
I think so because what she has to pay in taxes is a very small amount of money, whereas what she's been withheld from is a very large amount of money. So I think that's going to kind of like level itself out by giving her back money to.
Nice. That was a great explanation there, Zach. Zach said the amount that she was supposed to pay in tax, this 34, was very small compared to what she actually had withheld in federal taxes. Right? 534 is $500 more than 34. Okay, so that should give you a hint right there. But let's see how this works out now. Okay, line 20 says if line 19 is more than line 16, then subtract line 16 from line 19. So let's see if that's true. Is line 19 more than line 16? That answer is yes. So we subtract line 16 from line 19. So we take $534.96 and subtract 34, which that will give us almost a nice round amount, but we have some change left over. So line 20 should be $500.96. And you'll see right here, it says this is the amount you overpaid. So Melinda paid $500.96 too much. She paid too much in federal taxes throughout the year. So on the next line, the last one we're going to fill in here, says the amount of line 20 that you want refunded to you. Is there anybody out there that would not take the full refund amount? Speak now.
Does it go against taxes for next year?
Ooh. So I believe it could if you wanted to.
If that's the case, I'd probably take a half of what the refund is and put the other half to next year's taxes.
Okay. It's a good plan there, Zach. And you'll see in line 22, I wasn't really going to get into this, but it says the amount of line 20 that you want applied to your 2020 estimated tax. So you could carry that over. But I think in most cases, people would probably want that full refund now because that's money you can get in your pocket, in your bank account right now. So me, I want that immediate satisfaction, and I'm going to request that full refund. So the amount in line 20 is the amount that I'm going to put in 21A to tell the IRS that I want that full amount refunded to me. Okay? And really the last thing that we would have to do, which I can't do on here, is to sign it. Okay, you put your signature, so Melinda Flowers would sign right here. She would date it with today's date, which would hopefully be before tax day of April 15th. And then she would fill in her occupation. All right, and this is a form, this 1040, this needs to go to the IRS. Unlike your W-4, which you turn into your employer, your 1040, your completed tax return, has to go to the IRS. All right. And again, just to reiterate, Melinda is owed a refund because she paid too much. So she will be getting back $500.96. And that, I believe, would be the last question for Melinda that you guys have to answer. Okay. So let's see here, guys. Lana, what question did you miss? The last one. So that's the most important. Based on the previous answer, is Melinda getting a refund or does she owe more in taxes? Is that the one you're referring to? So that comes from this last line. Okay, that's what we did for line 20. If line 16 was more than line 16, we subtract 16 from 19. So that gave us this $500.96. That's the amount she overpaid. So that's the dollar amount of the refund that she will be getting back. $500.96. All right. So guys, this took a little longer than I thought. Of course, I had high hopes that we'd be able to get through 2 of these, but clearly that's not going to happen. So I just went into the form on my end and deleted the questions about Boris, but I don't know if that Did that change yours at all, or do you still have those there?
We still have these there. Do you want us to just put like NA?
Yeah. That's, I guess, that's a good idea. I was like, oh no, how are they going to submit this if all those questions are required? But yes, if you guys can just enter NA or none for Boris so I can still see what you put in for Melinda. Because again, this is going to count as an assignment. This is how you get credit for being with me today and making sure you got this done. So next time we will go through Boris's refund because his is a little bit different. And then I'm going to have you guys, like I said, do 1 or 2 on your own to wrap this all up. And that'll close out the marking period. Man, perfect timing. Did I plan that or what? All righty, let's see.